A table empty, a table bare, will always look for food to share. Silver plates and glasses, napkins to set. Only the beginning, spreading what we get. A table pretty, a table fair, will always look for food to share. A gleaning of produce we proudly lay, a garden of health, a grand buffet. A table full, friends and family there, will also look for food to share. Food share makes us more than able for all to gather around the table. Ruth's Gleanings presents Food Share Spartanburg, gather round the table.
In Leviticus 23, there's a verse that says, when you reap the harvest of your fields, don't reap all the way to the edges of the field or pick up the gleanings left behind. Leave those for the poor and the foreigner among you. I am the Lord your God. This is the verse that first inspired Ruth's Gleanings to ask the question, what can we do in modern times to glean the fields and to supply that food for the poor, for the foreigner, for the widow and the orphan? Hello, my name is Tanya Smith, and I am the founder and director of Ruth's Gleanings. This is God's prescription for feeding people who might be on the outskirts of society, maybe around the fringe of society. This is what we have been inspired by in order to glean the edges of the fields in our own communities. Food that's been left behind, food that's maybe in excess. So we take that food and we rescue it and we get it into other organizations who are feeding people. In the last year, we started a new program called Food Share Spartanburg. And we started this program in much the same step of faith, that we could get food in at the household level, not just into food pantries and mission homes, but actually into households of families who might struggle with putting fresh, healthy food on the table. We started in January of 2019 with 12 boxes, and within 4 months, we had grown 12-fold.
Let's push this on down.
In January of 2020, we opened a new packing facility and grew our capacity to be able to supply more and more boxes of fresh produce that we purchase from local farmers and regional farmers and our state farmers market.
Pull up to Terry at the trailer.
Of course, we are all in a new position right now with the current crisis of COVID-19. Since that has happened in March, we have more than doubled the number of boxes that we are putting out. That is really indicative of the great need that is here in our community. The fact of the matter is, we're just a small organization. We're not very old, 4 years old, and we have had an exponential growth, and we need the community's help. We need the community's support. We need the community to come alongside of us and help to meet the demand that continues to grow. We've had a wonderful blessing of a lot of people coming alongside of us so far and supporting what we're doing, and we need to continue to build on that.
Up next, despite the pandemic, Tanya takes questions from a board member who got close enough to ask.
This box contains the power to combat poverty, to ward off disease and improve health, stimulate economic growth, create vital opportunity and independence. In this box is the power to unite communities. And the only tool you'll need is this. Food Share, the box that yields a harvest for life. Support Food Share and you support your community. Go to ruthsgleanings.com.
Hi, Sissy.
Hey, Tanya.
So good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So joining us now is Sissy Malott. She serves on our board of directors, and we're so glad to have her today and every day. She is a very vital piece of our organization.
So Tanya, explain to our guest We know that things have changed so much in the last 2 months. How have your needs changed? What are the most pressing needs that you have right now?
Yes, everything has changed for everyone in the last couple of months with the coronavirus, social distancing and stay-at-home orders, and really a huge disruption in our food supply. That is affecting a lot of people, especially people who struggle to get food to begin with. How it's affected us as an organization is we have seen our numbers more than double for demand for our fresh produce. And so we have had to make a lot of adjustments in our operations and taken it curbside like everyone else. And we've had to dial back on our volunteers because we have a lot of high-risk volunteers. But we have a wonderful core group of volunteers who's kept the wheels on the bus turning, so to speak.
Right.
Some of the needs that we really have for right now are we need increased funding right now in order to be able to purchase the food in a timely manner to keep up with the demand.
Right.
We need funding to purchase a refrigerated truck. We were able to purchase a covered trailer recently, and that has been a wonderful blessing, but we've already surpassed the capacity of the trailer. We need refrigeration in order to keep the integrity of that produce while we transport it.
So I can understand how needing a refrigerated truck is an urgent need for the Food Share program at this time. Typically, how many boxes do you distribute?
Well, at the end of January, when we opened our new packing facility, we were in the 150 range, a little bit less, and in March we saw that increase, and in April we saw it increase again, and we're around 300 boxes now every 2 weeks, with that number going up each time.
Do you still need volunteers?
Absolutely. We couldn't do anything without our volunteers. They are the heartbeat of our organization. They keep the boxes packed, they load the boxes, they help us deliver the boxes. They really are vital to what we do. We've had a lot of other organizations, companies get their employees involved and come and help pack boxes, but we have a core group of volunteers that has been steadfast through this coronavirus crisis that we've been in. But as we grow, the number of boxes we pack, it takes longer and longer and longer to pack them, and so we don't want to tax our volunteers too much. We need more volunteers certainly to get signed up.
And it would be great for corporate sponsors to come together and let their employees come volunteer for you.
Yes.
I know a lot of companies will allow
Yes. We have
time
had
off
that.
for
Yes, absolutely. We've had that. We've had Milliken come out. We've had Spartanburg Regional come out. We've had other organizations, Partners for Active Living, the kids at Cleveland Elementary School. We really loved having those kids come and get involved with what we do.
And speaking of your children coming to volunteer, which is a wonderful idea, I heard a little story about some children who came out recently.
Yes, that's right. We had some kids that came from Cleveland Academy. Our food share coordinator, Channing Hauser, he volunteers at Cleveland Academy with the Boys and Girls Club. They do some chef club and growing some vegetables in the schoolyard, and well, I'll just let Channing tell you about it.
What we do with them is just teach them the great healthy choices with fresh fruits and vegetables and just getting them involved there. They also grow a garden in their own school backyard or playground. They love being able to do things hands-on, and the kids have never been a part of something like this, dealing with fresh fruits and vegetables. They're used to being in the grocery store or Walmart and seeing it cut up and diced up in the produce section. Kids, they grew watermelons last year, and they couldn't process that the cut up red item in the packaged in plastic in a Walmart was the round green thing sitting in your garden.
Imagine children that thought watermelon grew in slices because they never saw one grow whole. Consider adults whose only source of produce came from a can. And think about a community deprived of nutrient-rich, fresh fruits and vegetables lending to health and wellness problems. The lack of vibrant food is a growing concern affecting the inner city of Spartanburg. Ruth's Gleanings is tackling these issues head-on through their Gleaning program and through Food Share. They distribute a variety of rescued local and regional produce to food pantries, soup kitchens, and mission houses. The Food Share box is a way to provide fresh food at an affordable price. In fact, much lower than area supermarkets. Healthy recipes are also offered to teach new ways of preparing these fresh foods. For as little as $5 a box, financially challenged families in the heart of Spartanburg can enjoy enough wholesome, harvested produce for up to 2 weeks at a time. And the results are changing lives.
This is a lifesaver. People should eat fruits and vegetables.
Food Share Spartanburg is making an impact. Within months after the program's start, the number of boxes ordered increased 12-fold. And with the current public health crisis, that amount has more than doubled. Unlike any other service programs that have temporarily closed their doors, Ruth's Gleanings remains open, adapting to the sudden increase in service. The challenge is increasing the capacity to meet the demand. For example, the cost of boxes alone has risen 20%. Most of all, a refrigerated box truck is urgently needed to transport and preserve the produce as Ruth's Gleanings expands Food Share sites in our community. Will you help us get healthy food into the hands and onto the tables of our inner city neighbors?
If you get a chance to try this program, please do. It's worth every penny. It's worth it.
Your tax-deductible contribution will improve health and wellness where it is needed the most. It may even save lives. Simply go to the donate page of ruthsgleanings.com. You can also give by texting the word Gleanings to 50155.
I don't think people realize that there's a desert in Spartanburg.
Yes, a food desert. There's a food desert in Spartanburg. In fact, we have many food deserts in Spartanburg. And what that means is that people are not in close proximity to a grocery store or a store that provides fresh, healthy food, specifically produce. With our Food Share program, are addressing that head on. We are locating ourselves in food deserts through our main location, which is in the north side of Spartanburg, and then we choose partner sites based on location and the clientele that they serve. And our partner sites, they are so important to us. For instance, we have a pediatric clinic at Spartanburg Regional, and they serve a low-income population. And so they take orders for Food Share right there in the office when they have identified families who have food insecurity, and they take the order, they let us know how many boxes they have for the week, and we pack the boxes, we take them to the doctor's office, and they distribute right there from the pediatric clinic.
And Tanya, for our guests who may not know, what exactly is food insecurity?
Well, really just like what it sounds, they're not secure with their food. So they may or may not know where their next meal is coming from. And so they're having to make hard choices each month about what they are able to budget in. And obviously food is vital, so they make shortcuts with the kinds of foods that they purchase, and fresh, healthy food is maybe not attainable for them. And at the same time, what we found in Spartanburg and any other food insecure community, people have health disparities, meaning they have higher incidence of diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, all of the high-risk categories that you can see, obesity. These are all things that can be treated very well with a proper diet. And so we really concentrate just on fresh, healthy food in order to meet that need.
Are your customers able to get fresh produce at their local food pantry?
Well, not a lot. Food pantries, they really rely on donations of food that a lot of times comes from excess at a grocery store. And so the excess is usually things they're switching out on the shelves, maybe canned goods or box goods, and they're shelf stable so they last longer. And there is definitely a place for that. People need that, but there isn't very much fresh, healthy food in the pantries. So we work really hard to get fresh, healthy food in the pantries and also work with people who would typically be going to a food pantry.
What vegetables and fresh produce, Tanya, are in the boxes?
So we have 9 to 12 varieties of fresh fruits and vegetables in every single box. It's different each time based on availability, what's in harvest, what's fresh right then, what the food prices are. Those fluctuate from week to week.
How much does a box cost?
That's a great question. So the box is $15 cash, or if they are on SNAP benefits, it's only $5 on their SNAP card, because we apply an automatic $10 Healthy Bucks coupon that the state offers as an incentive to buy fresh produce.
How much does the box weigh?
The box typically weighs anywhere from 15 to 20 pounds.
So your customers are getting 15 to 20 pounds of fresh produce for $15.
Yes.
Or even $5.
Or $5, yes. And we've gone to every grocery store in town to try to duplicate that box and see what it would cost. And it always falls between $23 to $30 worth of produce, but we sell it for $5 or $15.
Tanya, why does Food Share Spartanburg and Ruth's Gleanings need funding if the customers are paying for the boxes?
The food share purchase that people make only pays for the food itself. It doesn't pay for gas in the truck, it doesn't pay for the truck, it doesn't pay for any operational costs whatsoever. In fact, because of delays with the reimbursement with the Healthy Bucks, we often are in a cash flow situation that makes it difficult, especially for the exponential growth that we're experiencing right now. And I really would like people to understand about who we are as an organization, that we increase access to fresh, healthy food. And the way we do that is a hand up to people. It's not a handout to people. It's really something that's empowering. That's why we have that in our mission statement. When they purchase a food share box, they have made an investment in themselves. They have committed to taking this box of produce home, taking it out, learning how to cook it and prepare it and serve it to their families. So they really truly are invested in the box themselves.
So Tanya, have the food share boxes made a difference in your customers' lives?
Oh yes, definitely. We hear that all the time, and we have a few that we're going to hear from now.
I seen an advertisement for this, for food share, and I thought, well, wow, that sounds good, because at that time my income was real limited. It's $15 for the box. And I thought, well, I couldn't go to the store and buy what they say is in the box. So I came out here and I got my first box, and I was very impressed with it. Had everything that I liked, some things that I'd never tried. So that's why I still continue to come and get them. There's the lettuces, the tomatoes, the fruits, apples, bananas, plums, just things that are good for you and you should be eating instead of eating all this junk food. My husband is not a well man, and he loves his greens. So sometimes we get turnip greens or mustard greens or collards. And I fix those, and both of us sit down and eat them. My favorite thing to do is make a salad and put grilled salmon on it. So we do eat that at least once a week. Yes, I would recommend Food Share with others. It's worth your time to order one of these boxes. It's worth your time to come pick it up, because you're getting some great fruits and vegetables from Food Share at a very good price. $15 per box. If you have SNAP, it's $5. Can't beat the price. I can't go to the store and buy what's in this box for $15.
I've been coming to Food Share since October, and I just love the program. Food Share has made a big difference. I wasn't a healthy person, and I thought I was invincible, and find out I'm a diabetic. I have high blood pressure, and I have cholesterol problems. Last year I got really sick, and so my family took me to the emergency room. and they said my diabetes is really, really bad. The doctor said either I take care of myself or die. And then with the diabetes program, they talked about this place called Food Share. And I was like, what is a food share? Does everybody bring food and they share it? And they says, no, it's an awesome program for people that want to get healthy. Since I was in the program in October, when I started it, my A1C was 9.6. And being on this program, by December, it went down to 7.1. Every time you pick up your food share box, it was like, what's in here? What's in here? Because you don't know what it is, what's in the box. And I opened it up and like, tomatoes. You got your fruits, you got your vegetables. I couldn't get this at a grocery store. The quality is awesome, and it kept me healthy. Coming from Hawaii, we never grew collard greens. And when I came to get my box, they were giving away collard greens, bunches, as you walk out the door. And I'm like, what do I do with collard greens? And there were recipes to try, so I tried it. And I was like, wow, I'm eating collard greens. I don't have to buy them in the can. Beets, they give you beets, they were huge. And the fruits were so good. Lemons. I'm learning how to drink more water by using the lemons and put it in there to help me. Strawberries, huge strawberries. It helps people, especially somebody like me that is not a very healthy wasn't a healthy person. But now it's making me enjoy what God has given us. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional because it has helped me a lot. Yes, it's a lifesaver. People should eat fruits and vegetables. It actually makes you smart. You either can be healthy or not healthy. You either want to die or you want to live. This is your choices. You know, people cannot tell you what to do. You have to do it yourself. Food Share has given you that opportunity to get healthy. Food Share, come on now. Food and share. Everybody please join Food Share.
I found the Food Share program on Instagram. I seen an ad. Today I'm down 11 pounds since I started eating the fruits and vegetables. I really didn't eat salad, but since the lettuce, it's a different taste from when you buy it in the bag. I never had plantains. And so my first time getting it and the recipe that came with it, and I tried it, it was delicious. I introduced it to my children. They never had plantains, that was good. The beets, we never had beets, that was good. And I even added it to my smoothies. Even the tomatoes and the cucumbers, they taste different to me. We didn't have that type of places in Ohio in the inner city. We bought fruits and vegetables from the grocery store, and it wasn't, it's not as quality as what I have found in the Food Share boxes. I tell people about the Food Share. Matter of fact, I had a couple of friends come and sign up, and they get boxes too. I fix dinner on Sundays, and we making healthier choices, and we still have a great time at the table. If you get a chance to try this program, please do. It's worth every penny. It's worth it.
Before you can gather around the table, you've got to gather up the gleanings. We'll hear from a farmer that provides wholesome produce from a healthy harvest. Stay tuned.
In this box is the power to unite communities. And the only tool you'll need is this. Food Share, the box that yields a harvest for life. Support Food Share and you support your community. Go to ruthsgleanings.com.
Well, we're here today with Sally Hambright-Ballou with Thickety Mountain Farms. And she's one of the farmers that has participated with Ruth Gleanings for several years now and has participated in both of our programs. Thanks for being with us today. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. If you wouldn't mind sharing just what compelled you to get involved with Ruth's Gleanings?
Okay. Well, a few years ago, we started growing at a larger scale, and we noticed that we had a lot of excess produce that I couldn't sell at a farmer's market or either to like a grocery store or something. And so when I was trying to find a place to donate the produce to, I called around and found several, donation services, but y'all were really the only ones that really called me back.
We've been able to put thousands of pounds of your produce into food pantries and mission houses in Spartanburg, and so we really appreciate that. Just to clarify, if we hadn't come and picked up your excess produce, what would have happened to that?
It basically would have been dumped.
Just put back into the field?
Yeah,
like
it would have been dumped into a field. We don't actually have a compost, but we do try to leave excess produce in the field so it does rebuild the soil.
Well, I love being out here on your beautiful farm, and even though it's raining today and it's not really a work day for you probably, can you just share with us some of the things you've grown in the past or what you're growing this year?
We grow a really wide variety of vegetables, and pretty much always have, just in order to sell more things. Right now we're harvesting a bunch of brassicas. We've got 3 different types of kale, some chard, broccoli rabe, some broccoli, cauliflower, 3 different types of cabbages, and then a bunch of root crops like radishes, beets, carrots, turnips.
Oh wow,
yeah,
that's a lot.
We usually grow 30 to 40 things throughout the year. And if you're doing direct to consumer, or even if you're selling to a small grocery store, which is what we were doing, into restaurants, people can only eat so much broccoli.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to spread out with the amount of stuff that you're growing.
We loved having your produce in our food share box last year. So we were able to purchase a pretty good amount last year. Was that a helpful thing to you guys?
That was really great, because there's always like a peak point for a crop where it produces way more than my customers that I had already worked out what I was going to grow can buy. And so y'all actually purchased most of that excess. So it was really great for us to be able to get rid of it, because it would have been wasted otherwise.
So how important to you is that to get your food placed instead of thrown out?
Well, I think one of the worst things for a farmer is working really hard to produce a crop, and then if you don't have a buyer, having to dump that crop. So it was really great to work with y'all and make sure that it was getting to people who would appreciate it and would eat it,
Yeah. One of the really wonderful things for me as an organization, with Ruth's Gleanings, we've had farmers to give us product in a rescue kind of way, things they've poured their money and resources into to grow, and it's always been my prayer that we would be able to somehow bless them back for what they've given to the community through our gleaning process. Then enters Food Share, which is our produce box that we sell at a wholesale or discount price to low-income families and in the community. And so that was a way in my heart that we could then turn around and bless farmers who had given to us. And so I was so excited to be able to purchase your products and put in those boxes.
Y'all were able to buy a lot of the things at the time when they were coming in extremely heavy, and we weren't able to sell them via our normal channels last year. I think being able to do that with farmers would probably encourage more farmers to give, when they do have too much.
Yeah.
They're getting a benefit anyway, and at that point you were like a real customer, Y'all also happen to be a fabulous customer.
Oh.
Because you're super easy to work with, ordering wise, and then I hate to say it, but it can be a little difficult for farmers to get paid sometimes, and y'all always paid immediately, which was really great.
So we're living in pretty different circumstances in 2020 with the coronavirus and interruptions in the food supply and quarantine. What does that look like for you guys, or how would that affect a farmer that sells on a local level?
It's actually really strange, because some farmers this has actually been great for. So the farmers that are selling direct to a consumer, so those farmers that are selling at farmers markets, even farmers that have farm stands, already set up and already have a customer base that comes there, I think are actually having a great year.
That's wonderful.
That is wonderful. But that is not the majority of our farms and farmers. And so most people, the way that they work and the way that we have sort of modeled ourselves is we're more of a wholesaler, grow larger varieties of things, and then sell it to a middle person who then distributes to restaurants. And so farms that are in that situation, they're having a really hard time right now because they do not have a customer. So a lot of those farms are having to dump their stuff. They just literally do not have a way to get it to where it's going.
What are your thoughts on the fact that the food that you've personally grown and you've put your blood, sweat, and tears into has been able to be utilized to bring nutrition to people who normally don't have a really good access to nutritional food?
My husband and I didn't get into farming for the money, obviously. We got into farming because we really love it. We also got into it because I was concerned about the food that we were eating and that our family was eating. And so it's really important for me to be able to sell whatever we grow here locally. I love that it goes to Spartanburg, and that, you know, people there who don't have access to fresh local food can have access to that.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all you've done with Ruth's Gleanings and with our food share program, for what you do in our community to grow healthy, fresh food on a local level. I just pray many blessings over your family, your growing family, and we really appreciate you so much, Sally.
Thank you. We appreciate y'all too, because y'all have helped us out a lot. I mean, not just with the food share, but the fact that we don't have to waste what we have grown.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll wrap things up in a moment, but first, the higher calling behind Ruth's Gleaning and why God's timing, coronavirus or not, is always perfect.
This box contains the power to combat poverty, to ward off disease and improve health, stimulate economic growth, create vital opportunity and independence. In this box is the power to unite communities, and the only tool you'll need is this. Food Share, the box that yields a harvest for life. Support Food Share and you support your community. Go to ruthsgleanings.com.
The spiritual aspect of the book of Ruth in relation to our organization, Ruth's Gleanings. There are a lot of layers to the spiritual aspect, and one of them is truly about gathering at the table and what God has ordained as a process of everyone being included. The verse to glean and leave the gleanings for the poor and the foreigner, the widow and the orphan, it's positioned right in the middle of all these feasts that he lays out for people. But he puts in this provision where you not only invite the foreigner, the poor, the widow, and the orphan, but you provide for them a place at the table. That's what we're trying to do here at Ruth's Gleanings, is making sure that everyone is invited to the table, that everyone has a full plate at the table, everyone is able to bring their family and their friends to the table. God uses in the Bible, he uses food and agriculture to paint a picture of a story from beginning to end, from the Garden of Eden to a restored kingdom on earth, where he uses food and harvests as this beautiful symbolic way of referring to people that he is redeeming. He has a harvest, and that's of people. And so that verse, to reap the edges of the field, or to pick up the gleanings that are left behind, those really are the people that we're trying to reach. Those are the people in God's harvest that have been on the fringe of society, on the edges of the field, the ones who've been left behind by the society or by the larger harvesters. We're really here to reach those people They are the gleanings. They are the harvest. That's what we're doing here in the north side. That's what Ruth's Gleanings started at Harvest Park. That's why we're here still in the north side, reaching people who have perhaps been left behind, or perhaps are still living on the edge of the field. That is the picture. That's the spiritual picture. We want to reach them with food. That's a tool that we use, but we really want to feed people's spirit and feed people's soul. And God uses food to do that all the time. He uses it from the very beginning to the very end of the Bible. That's the journey that we're on here in Spartanburg, is to feed people mind, body, and soul and spirit. Normally we would be gathering around a table together at a live dinner for a fundraiser. We're all in a really different time right now with the recent coronavirus lockdown and everyone with their social distancing and not being able to come together around a table. Hopefully everyone has been gathering more at their own table, though, in their own home with their families, and taking advantage of this time to slow down and really reconnect with their families and maybe cook some more and learn some new recipes. That's what we're hearing from our food share customers and our food share program participants, is that they're cooking more, they're spending more time around their own table with their families. While a lot of programs in our town have had to step back and slow down and close, we have continued to go. We've continued to feed people. We have continued to gather food. We have continued to purchase food, pack food, and distribute food. With people losing their jobs and being out of work for an extended period of time, it will be a big challenge for all of us to be able to meet the needs of those who are suffering around us. Lots of people who find themselves in a new situation who possibly didn't struggle to put food on their table before, but now they are. Join us in that effort, in that fight to support one another, so that we can all gather around the table.
Will you help us get healthy food into the hands and onto the tables of our inner city neighbors? Your tax-deductible contribution will improve health and wellness where it is needed the most. It may even save lives. Simply go to the donate page of ruthsgleanings.com. You can also give by texting the word Gleanings to 50155. Ruth's Gleanings and Food Share Spartanburg thank you for your support. With your generous donation, we can help more families gather around the table. Hopefully we won't be so socially distant next year. In the meantime, please stay safe.